I've been asked by Alexis Santa Cruz, the new growth director for District 21, to recount some of my experiences in Toastmasters. I've been a member of Toastmasters for 40 plus years. Well, the first question he asked me is, how did you find out about Toastmasters? Well, it's an interesting story because there I was walking through the, the Hillside Mall, and there was a guy sitting there at a table and saying, would you be interested in joining Toastmasters? Well, I hadn't thought much about that because at that point I'd already been a school teacher, so I didn't have any fear of public speaking. I'd even done some television broadcasting. So again, I didn't have any reluctance to present in front of audiences. But what I actually needed help with was how to organize an effective presentation. What would be the methods that I could use to be more effective in organizing a presentation? Well, this guy happened to be Sandy Robertson, who was one of the early pioneers of Toastmasters in Victoria, and he convinced me that it would be a good idea for me to join the Pioneer Toastmasters Club, which was a morning club in Victoria. It was it was the only morning club in Victoria and one of the only morning clubs in British Columbia. Now, what Alexis asked me, what are some of the funniest things that happened? Well, this isn't exactly funny, but it's a mindset. Our club would meet early in the morning, and we would often say, well, who would want to join a club like this? And I said, well, stop for a second and think about it. We're all members, so obviously people would be interested in joining. But I said, let's expand it. Let's get more people because this is the ideal time to meet. But the funny part was they said, well, let's close down over the summer because after all, people aren't going to show up during the summer. I said, well, yes, they are. We're going to show up over the summer. And I was the membership chairman. So I said, not only will we stay open during the summer, but we'll actually increase our membership. That was one of the first times that I learned the expression. Later I learned that this was an expression of reverse the obvious. I've already indicated, as Alexis asked me, why did I join Toastmasters? I joined to learn how to prepare and organize speeches better. What is the speech that you have said that you liked the most? Well, when I was preparing for the World Public Speaking Championship in Milwaukee, I had to get through the district championship, but then I also had to achieve the Region 1 championship. And at that time, Jesse Owens, the most famous runner in U.S. history, had just died. And I gave a speech on Dare to Dream, Dare to Believe that you can achieve. And I talked about Jesse Owens' history and his life. That speech allowed me to get to the finals of the World Public Speaking Championship, where I finished in the top 9. I didn't win it. I didn't come second. I didn't come third. But the highlight was having delivered that speech at Region 1. If you'd like to tell a story to your grandchildren, what story would that be? Well, I believe that as a grandfather, I'm always telling stories to my grandchildren. And this is, by the way, one of the things that allows you to be effective in Toastmasters is to plan ahead and realize that I might not be a grandfather now. Well, I am, but the people watching this might realize they're not a grandparent now. But think, how will you tell the stories to your grandchildren? And that is a great reason to learn how to be an effective Toastmaster. Being an effective Toastmaster is not the business of overcoming the fear of public speaking. It's being able to tell a story and tell it effectively. Recently, I was meeting with my grandson and we were discussing the whole business about intermittent fasting and how you can be healthier. When I talked about my stories, he talked about his stories. What's the best thing you got out of your Toastmasters experience? The best thing that I get out of my Toastmasters experience is that I'm constantly stretching the boundaries of what's possible. Thinking ahead to what I can do next. What would be the next presentation I can make? How can I, in fact, be better? Toastmasters allows you to be on the Get Better program. The essential element in life is to be on the Get Better program. If a friend or a close person is considering joining Toastmasters, what advice would you give to them? The only advice that I give to people thinking about joining Toastmasters is go to several different clubs. Go as a guest and find the people that you enjoy being with. It's not the idea of the program, because the program is going to be the same across many different organized clubs. It's all the same program. But who do you enjoy being with? So I strongly suggest that they sort out and go to many different clubs and find the ones that they enjoy being with the most. I hope that this has encouraged people to think about joining Toastmasters, continuing Toastmasters, and I've enjoyed doing this presentation.